Alrighty, so I'm Beck Lane, and this is Catalyst and Company. Catalyst and Company, where we're catalysts in each other's lives as well as our own. And we work at being the artist we've always wanted to be. As you can see, I'm very, very tired. I did a tally last night of a project I've been working on. And it's not one that I ever expected to be involved in or do anywhere at any time. But there we go. I've been painting sidewalk sections. There's a section of Sarasota called Burns Square. There's Burns Court and Burns Square, and it's a really charming neighborhood. It's got a cozier, older neighborhood feel than a lot of Sarasota, where these big modern homes are going up, or condos or buildings. This is a neighborhood dedicated to small businesses and just smaller living, quieter living. And in that neighborhood, there's a festival called Chalk Fest, which is coming up in November, the first weekend in November. And it's going to be a very, very big festival this year, truly an international festival, and I believe it's the largest in the United States. Well, leading up to that, the organizers also run something called Avenue of Art. And Avenue of Art runs up two roads in Burns Square, South Orange and South Pineapple. And when I was in C Alliance doing another 8 by 10 foot chalkboard, or two chalkboard illustrations for them, we were getting ready for a documentary film crew that was coming in. This man came in, this very quiet, gentle man came in and sat down with my friend Julie, who helps to run C Alliance, and was talking to her about Avenue of Art. And they were looking for participants. They were looking for visual artists, painters, who would donate their time to paint sidewalk sections. And I'm standing there like this. I'm drawing on the chalkboard and I'm going, please don't see me, because it's not something I ever wanted to do, ever considered doing. It just didn't interest me, and it didn't seem to have, it didn't, being that I am a snob, and I can be very snobbish, I thought, painting on sidewalks, chalk. Drawing with chalk. Sorry, I just got lost in my head again. I'm very tired. But I was listening to Bill. And Julie all of a sudden says, well, Beck is an artist while I'm doing this. Please don't see me. Please don't see me. And so I went over and introduced myself, and he was continued to talk about Avenue of Art and that they were looking for artists. And I was very, very hesitant, because I have looked down on a lot of Chalk Fest and, sidewalk painting. It's not the elevation I want necessarily. This is so awful. It's not where I want to be. So it's not elevating me in my mind. But then I started listening to him talk, and all the artists that had contributed, and what they were trying to contribute in terms of not just decoration, like this is a pretty flower, but in terms of recognizing like Black history in Sarasota and social justice and all these things that align with my core values, and also C Alliance, where now I am kind of their official artist, which makes me really proud. But I listened to him and I thought, you know what, I think I will do this. He asked, and I thought, yeah, I think I will, because I get to express more of C Alliance and the value system I hold, and recognize people that aren't recognized in situations that aren't talked about, or at this point in time are considered just so horrible and made into political badminton. I thought, yeah, I want to do this. So I think I was offered 2 sidewalk sections at first, the entryway to Sea Alliance, and then I was offered a couple more, and then it just kept going. And when I was done with the first set, it expanded even further, because I said to Bill, do you need any more done? And I've almost finished them. I've got some small work to do on a couple of 3 illustrations, but it's quick and easy. But in total, I've taken 15 sections of sidewalk and made 11 illustrations. So most are 4 feet by 4 feet. Some are, 8 feet by 4 feet, somewhere in between, or larger. And although I did look down on this, and I'm not sure I want to do it again, although I might, what I really enjoyed about it, and why I'm glad I said yes to this particular opportunity that popped up, this unusual thing that I kind of looked down on forever. Well, I didn't I did look down on, because people, and I'll explain, because people usually use that as like an entryway. And I feel like I'm going on different projects. I'm going laterally or back to the beginning, where I want to be going upwards with my artwork. I want to be taking it to new levels. So that's my Thurston Howell view on it, very snobbish. But now I'm really glad I did it, and I'll explain why. It's because, number one, I got to meet hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. I walked in with stacks of stickers, and I had to buy more, reorder more. I went in with probably 600 brochures, had to order another 600. No, not 600 brochures, sorry. I went in with a couple hundred brochures and had to order more. I gave out postcards, all kinds of information. I got to act as an ambassador for Avenue of Art. It just fell in my lap because I was constantly there. Worked as an ambassador for Avenue of Art and Chalk Fest. Not officially, it was just, I'm here and I have the information. And so I was also telling the stories that I was illustrating on the sidewalk. Sorry. So I have the opportunity to explicitly explain to people what I was doing and why. And people were very enthusiastic. It was really exciting. But on top of that, too, it gave me the opportunity to learn about working with different materials. Although I did work with aerosol paint, primers and aerosol paint. I worked with acrylic, but I used house paint. Benjamin Moore sample house paint. I used a lot of it. I ended up buying a ton myself. Outside of what they gave us, I couldn't find the colors in what I wanted in what they gave us, so I ended up buying a whole bunch. I spent a lot on participating in this, but I'm glad. Something that didn't occur to me when I started. Each section of sidewalk is going to behave completely different. I learned so many things. The texture of the sidewalk, each section of sidewalk is going to be different. So every time you lay down a brush stroke or spray down an aerosol, it's going to react differently. So you have to adjust. I learned that working out in the sun for weeks on end is not particularly fun when it's 95 degrees. You're welcome. I learned supplies that you need, like a tent, is always a good idea. Of course, water. If one more person tells me to keep hydrated, I'm going to punch them. When you're thirsty, drink water. Okay. But it was keeping everything organized so you're not carrying. When I started, I had a Rubbermaid container that I was carrying supplies around in, and then a few weeks later I realized, oh, I can pare this down. Making sure that you have knee pads, because it is this is grueling. This is really tough on your body, but that you have knee pads, and if you can, get a little mechanic's wheelie seat thing, that they have that unfolds into a laying out thing so you can slide under cars but can fold up. I got a $50 one from Amazon. Not the greatest. It wasn't terribly comfortable, so I had a pillow with me so I could sit on it. And one of the wheels kept falling off. Oh my God. At one point I got so mad I threw it across the parking lot. I learned a lot. There were a lot of idiosyncrasies, and I wish I had made videos about it while I was working. But again, it's 95 degrees. You're in the sun. There's tons of traffic. There's always people going by. There's always people to interact with and talk to. And I gotta say, on the whole, although, again, it was physically grueling in ways I never would have considered before, I am glad I participated in this. Learning about paint, learning about which brushes will work on which texture. Also, different types of sealant. We're using a sealant that doesn't protect from graffiti, but it kind of protects from staining. I'm learning how to clean the sidewalk sections off because I'm considering the sidewalk that was done in front of Sea Alliance, kind of claiming it my responsibility. So I'm learning what I can use to clean the sidewalks with so that we keep them fresh once they're sealed, so we keep them fresh and alive and bright and cheerful. Respectful of sea, showing respect to seas, showing respect to Art Avenue of Art, to Chalk Fest, to all these people that are involved, and to the artists as well. Trying to think what else I've learned. I've learned so many different things. But I guess the biggest point in this is remembering to follow one of my rules. And one of my rules is say yes to everything. And I don't, but say yes to everything. Even the things, sometimes the things that you have felt would be a lateral move in your career or your goals, because I met hundreds and hundreds of people. And because I was out there and doing this work, not only did I meet all these spectacular people and had my photograph taken and was interviewed a bunch of times by people just doing live feeds on their phone. I was also photographed multiple times by the local papers. I was in an interview with Channel 10 in Tampa. I've been asked to be interviewed by ABC 7 again. It would be the second time this year, third time total if it happens. Trying to think what else. I don't know. I've just gotten a lot of coverage, and the cool thing is, neighborhood people got to know me, got to know my name, and were walking up and, oh my God, I wanted to see what you did today. Oh, I was walking by last night. I wanted to see what, if you did this thing that you said you were going to do. People were really, really, really excited about it, and I feel like I've contributed to a neighborhood that is trying to hold on to old Sarasota. The people that run Chalk Fest are very proud of the history in Burns Court, very proud of the buildings that are there, proud of the architecture, proud of the quaintness and the charm this place has, especially at night. But they're proud of the history that they get to reflect and the somewhat progressive attitudes. We're embroiled here in Florida in a fight for actually just being able to live free. if you don't live here, you can't understand how sometimes frightening and oppressive it is. But that there are many, many hands lending to the lifting of Sarasota and lending to the lifting of equality and freedom and speaking out loud. There are many hands. And I'm happy to say, because of Avenue of the Art, I get to lend my voice. And I talk to, again, hundreds of people who are like, thank you so much. They've felt lost and alone in this political climate. You know, sometimes they'd have to whisper. They'd feel so afraid sometimes of people, you know, because you don't know who you're talking to here. So they would feel so cautious that they would whisper their concerns. And so that would open the door to me introducing them to Sea Alliance or to other people I met around the neighborhood. It really just, there's layers upon layers here. So if you're thinking about maybe doing a sidewalk painting project, of course there's permits, there's all kinds of things, red tape, hoops you have to jump through, or red tape you have to cut through. But in the end, keep in mind a couple of things. It is extremely painful. It is physically grueling and taxing. Because I was doing squats all day, every day, which is fine if you don't have, you know, the multiple injuries I have. I was doing squats all day, I'm bent over all day, and after a while that gets to you. The weather, I had finished 4 sections of sidewalk, and the other day we got hit with a downpour, and all my sidewalk ended up underwater and then was covered with mud, and I spent 2 days cleaning it off. So today I could go down and seal it, or finish it up and then seal it. So keep in mind, this isn't like super fun. People look at you and go, I have fun. And I go, okay. Once my back, my hips, my arm, my head, everything stops hurting, I'll think about having some fun, sitting back and enjoying this. But it is physically the most grueling thing I think I've ever done, and I've done a lot of stuff physically. A lot of working out I used to do, but anyway, it's physically grueling. It is exhausting. I typically spent 12 hours a day on the sidewalk painting, sometimes up to 16 hours. So carry lidocaine cream with you. Make sure, another major tip is, make sure you have a water source that you check with whoever has water and will allow you to use it. Make sure you have a bathroom. There were several days where I didn't have a bathroom nearby. But you've got to be able to make sure that you can walk into a space and cool down a little bit, or you will fry out. Another concern is safety, because I've been working around Sea Alliance and doing a lot of pride stuff, or, you know, painting black people, which in Florida, please don't do that. I did have people, most of the people were really fun and kind and engaging, and then we had people that are MAGA axe to grind nutties. Most of them, I didn't like water off a duck. I didn't care. I had one, however, who threw me for such a loop. I was distraught for a couple of days. I was so distraught after she finally left that I packed up and went home, and I was shaking all the way home. The problem, if you're going to do public art, you're going to do, you know, something where you're stuck in a location. Make sure you have a system set up. So if someone does come up and start harassing you and just making you uncomfortable and could possibly be dangerous, not this woman. She was just really mouthy and nutty and spewing everything from Sandy Hook was a didn't happen to, you know, people like you made us wear masks and calling me, she mistook me for being a religious person and of the wrong religion that, or not the religion that I was born into. So I was, you're a J, you're a J, you're a Jew. She was yelling that at me for a long time. But when you're in that situation, the best thing you can do is not engage. And I tried to de-escalate, and it just got to a point where I started yelling back and told her to get the F out away from me, go the F home. And she wouldn't do it until I was yelling so loud people came out of a restaurant. So make sure that you always have your phone on you, your phone is charged, and not be hyper vigilant, but if someone does come up to you and you know there's something hinky, get ready to take their picture and hit record. But also because of that, I wasn't allowed to work at night for a while. I work alone at night, which I loved. I really loved doing until that point. There was a true safety concern because we had a few issues. I had a few issues that nobody knew about, and another one of them just could have been dangerous. So make sure that you have a safety system in place, and where you're on location, make sure that the businesses around you, you go and meet them. So if something happens, you can go into a business. Make sure that you keep all your valuables together, so if somebody does approach you and they're just not all there, you can grab your stuff and like my iPad and my phone, just grab it and go. Yeah, so make sure your phone is charged, that you're thinking, oh, this person is out of their mind, or they may be dangerous. Take their picture, start hitting record. Or text a friend too. Hey, a stranger came, there's somebody here, they're not quite right. Let somebody know. Let somebody know where you are as well. So there's a lot of little things, and I don't want to just focus on the bad. There are a lot of little things that I learned in this, and I look forward to taking them to the next project, which we'll find out about, I think, on the 18th. I have a meeting on the 18th, and we'll be progressing from there. All right, so I'm Beck Lane. This is Catalyst and Company. Do another one as soon as I'm more awake. Try. All right, ciao. Ciao.